The Joker is one of the most famous and most popular supervillains in the world, so it's no surprise that he's been in so many different films, TV series and video games. Though it is a little bit odd how many times he has died. Now, I've actually already done a video on the Joker's 5 best deaths, a link to which is in this video's description. But the Joker has died so many times that I've decided to do another video with 5 more times the Joker has died. Batman the Animated Series. In this show, the Joker died many times. True, we never actually saw his dead body, but he was always falling from places too high for a human to survive. Or he'd get eaten by sharks. Or he'd be caught in huge explosions that no one could escape or survive.
At this point, he probably is.
Now, we as the audience know that he must be dead, but he of course has to reappear in the show later on as he's Batman's arch-nemesis. So you either know that he died and came back because the show must go on, or you could think that he somehow miraculously survived these deaths. It's up to a person to decide for themselves, but personally I think he definitely died in all of these times and the showrunners just had to bring it back. But with that being said, these deaths are last on this list because he may have somehow survived. Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. In this film, the Joker is killed by the Tim Drake version of Robin. The Joker kidnaps Tim Drake and mind washes him into thinking he's the Joker's son. But thankfully Robin is able to break free of the mind control, not completely, but just enough to kill the Joker. Now there are 2 versions of this scene. One where Robin shoots the Joker, which is the one I mentioned in my other video, and a second, more PG version of his death, where the Joker trips and electrocutes himself, with the same device that he used to torture Robin. The reason there's 2 of these death scenes is because the second one, which is more tame, was made for a second cut of the film which would get a lower age rating. But even though he dies twice in this scene, it's still not the end of the Joker. Unbeknownst to everyone, the Joker had put a small chip into Tim Drake's body, which over the years copied both the Joker's mind and genetics over Tim Drake's mind and genetics. So basically he turned Tim Drake into the Joker, and let the Joker come back one last time. But he made a crucial mistake. The Joker pointed out this chip to Batman of the future while gloating about how good his plan was. And to be fair to the Joker, it is quite a clever plan, something which no one has ever been able to do, which is cheat death and get a second chance at life. The problem is, he is essentially saying, hey Batman, this is my weakness, hit me in this bit and I'll die. Which is exactly what happens, as Batman uses the Joker's own electric hand buzzer to fry the chip and kill the Joker once and for all. Which is why a supervillain should never start monologuing. Assault on Arkham. Now, this film was supposedly linked to the Batman Arkham video games, and was meant to be a prequel to the game Batman Arkham Asylum. But as anyone who's seen this film knows, this is not true. This film is not connected to the games at all. I don't care what anyone says, this was all just a marketing ploy to make it look like a joint universe, because joint universes are popular and the PR people obviously wanted to cash in on that. But this is not linked to the game at all. And one of the main reasons we know that it's not linked is because the Joker features in all of the Arkham games, and yet he dies in this film, which as I said is supposedly a prequel to these games. Now in the film the Joker is fighting Deadshot, and sadly for him he loses, and Deadshot manages to stick him in place on a helicopter, right before it falls off a skyscraper and explodes. And we watch as the Joker is killed, being caught in a huge explosion that even Batman couldn't have gotten out of. Live action Batman. In the classic Tim Burton's Batman film, Jack Nicholson plays the Joker, and after being defeated by Batman, he attempts to make his grand escape, by grabbing onto a ladder from a helicopter. Unfortunately for the Joker, as he flies away, Batman fires a grapple after him that's attached to a gargoyle, and the extra weight causes the Joker to lose his grip and plummet to his death. Though the real question of this is whether Batman intended to kill the Joker or not. He may have just been trying to stop the Joker getting away, but this is one of the darker versions of the character, so it is possible he actually intended to kill him. Now, the story goes that originally the Joker wasn't going to die in this film, but the filmmakers decided that having him die would be more dramatic. And I must admit, I do think the ending is stronger for it. Though of course we all knew that the Joker would later return in live action films. As I say, he is Batman's nemesis, and he's died a lot of times, but it's never stopped him from coming back, because he has the ultimate superpower: popularity. Telltale Batman. In the Batman Telltale video game series, in episode 5, if you have the ending where the Joker has become a villain, then you fight the Joker, and as you're punching him, his heartbeat fades, and he is essentially dead. But since this is Batman we're talking about, and he never kills, not even the Joker, he of course restarts the Joker's heart with an electrical gadget that he has on him. This is a short death, but one that I thought was worth a mention, because quite frankly, I always get annoyed whenever Batman saves the Joker's life, because I know he doesn't want to kill him, but it's just ridiculous that he's fighting to keep this manic serial killer alive. And it's also not the first time the Batman has saved the Joker in a video game. In the Batman Arkham Origins game, the Joker goes flying off of a building, and he's content with dying. He actually seems to be quite at peace as he falls. But then Batman flies after him and saves his life, even as the Joker is punching Batman in the face to stop him from doing this. It's a little bit confusing why he goes through so much to save the Joker. Even the Joker is at a loss as to why Batman does this.
Why would you do that? Newsflash! I'm the one who's trying to kill you!
And finally, there's one more death that deserves a mention, even though it was technically faked. In the Batman vs Dracula film, the Joker is fighting Batman, and after trying to stab Batman, he ends up hanging over a steep drop. Batman of course tries to save his life. As I've said before, he does this a lot. But the Joker tries to electrocute Batman instead, and take him over the drop with him so they can die together. And because of this, the Joker is unable to get up and falls into a body of water, and his electric joy buzzer goes crazy, frying him alive. And Batman thinks that he is dead, though of course he wasn't, and in fact later returns as a vampire. And I mention this because even though the death was faked, he does still kind of die, as vampires are the undead. So not quite dead, but pretty much a corpse that's somehow still moving. And though it's not a proper death, I still thought it deserved a mention. And this is actually the only time in animation that the Joker has become a vampire. And I think it's an idea that really needs to be used again. I mean, could you imagine a Batman Arkham video game with a vampire Joker? Because I think that would be absolutely amazing to play. Although I'd also think it was amazing if we could play a vampire version of Batman, but hey, maybe we'd get both. Or better yet, Vampire Batman, Werewolf Joker. And that is another 5 of the Joker's best deaths. Personally, I think the Batman Beyond one was the best one out of this list. It's a great ending to a great film. But what do you think? Which one of these is your favourites? And are there any other Joker deaths that you think should have been mentioned? Be sure to let us know in the comments, and just like to say a quick thank you to those who made this video possible by donating to the Needlemass Productions page on Patreon. And as always, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment.